I'm going to pull up this one from Post Millennial. Check this out. Morning Joe reveals he doesn't know the price of butter, realizes Trump won on the economy. Check out this clip from that we got Post Millennial.
I want to talk about economy for a second. A few weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, somebody who was going to be voting for Kamala Harris came up to me and said, "Oh my God, Trump's going to win." I go, "Why is that?" He goes, I went to the grocery store. Butter's over $3. I kind of laughed and I said, well, that's kind of reductive, isn't it? Said it to myself. To him, I smiled and I said, good point. But it actually, everything we're hearing after the election is,
I'm just saying, the $7.
What's that?
The $7.
What's that? Butter is $7?
Yeah.
What? Is it framed in gold? Okay. Anyway.
Depends on where you go.
Okay, well, yeah, okay. Well, anyway, my point is this, Willie. The rent is too damn high, and this guy was saying the cost of butter is way damn too high.
Yeah.
So the funny thing about this, when he said that, framed in gold, it's exposing one of the big reasons why they lost. So I don't think Project 2025 is going to move the needle with anybody. What we have right here is the Federal Reserve, St. Louis Fed. The average price of butter is $5. This is nationwide, $5 for a 4-pack of butter. That's insane. He says around $3. Micah says $7, and he goes, $7? What is it, framed in gold? Yes. That's exactly what your average middle-class, working-class guy thinks when he goes to the grocery store and he walks up and there's the unsalted butter and says $5, and he goes, what is it, framed in gold?
Yeah.
They mock the working-class people on these shows.
I do. I have to defend Joe Scarborough. I rarely do. I have to defend Joe Scarborough a little bit on this one because I will say, I probably shouldn't be admitting this, but I'm this every time because I don't do the grocery shopping.
Exactly.
I don't do the grocery shopping. I never have our whole marriage, and even going back to when we first got married and we were broke as hell. But so every time my wife goes grocery shopping, if I get a look at the receipt or if she mentions how much something costs, I'm like, that's not that much. What are you talking? What is it? So some of that I think is a man thing. We just can't, or maybe it's just me. I just can't.
I agree. I'm
absorb the cost of groceries.
I go grocery shopping. I look at the prices.
Well, dude. I mean, under Project 2025, wives do the grocery shopping.
That's right.
It's just how it is.
Yeah, I haven't done a full grocery shop for our family ever. So my wife does it.
Yeah, my wife does the grocery shopping too.
I also oversee when we're ordering drinks and snacks and other things for the office, so I can see all the prices. I can see them going up, but. That statement, what is it, framed in gold? Whether it's because he just has Micah, isn't he married to Micah? I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, he's married to the co-host.
Yeah. So she's telling him for exactly the reason.
That was his wife?
Yeah.
That's hilarious. I was going to make that joke. I was literally going to make that joke. Like the woman on the panel was like, this is how much it costs.
Dear, I went to the grocery store. It was $7. Well, I think they're in New York, right?
Yeah.
But the point is, when the Democrats are screeching about Project 2025, despite the fact it's just not happening, and Matt made a joke about it, I say, yeah, let's encourage them to do that. Meanwhile, regular working people are going to be like, why is butter $5? We'll be like, don't worry, we'll help you out there, buddy.
Yeah, I remember and you're right, people don't care about, obviously people don't care about Project 2025 because that was basically Kamala's whole campaign and it failed. And I can remember watching, on Sundays, watching football, and especially in the last 3 or 4 weeks before the election, and it's just constant political ads. And a lot of Trump ads, and obviously targeting men. It's NFL Sunday, and his ads were always hitting the economy. To your point, Tim, also hitting the trans thing really hard. Trump would hit those in the ads on the football ads. Kamala, I remember one of the ads she played on NFL Sunday, watching football. It was all about fear mongering for Project 2025, and I'm watching that. And I'm thinking, what man who's watching football is going to see this ad is like, oh, did you hear about Project 25? That sounds scary. Like nobody, even if you're on the left, you don't care about that. There's no idea how to message to these people.
That was their primary concern as the last couple of weeks of the campaign. They were like, oh my goodness, we're not getting men. Men are turning away from us. Why are they turning away? What is it? How do we message to them? And every attempt they made was as ham-fisted and ridiculous as you could possibly come up with. And so I don't think that they're going to be successful at messaging to men for a long time because they didn't learn anything. The whole the whole thing is that, or their whole take is that men are bad.
Exactly.
I saw this tweet for the super chat from Raymond G. Stanley Jr. today in Weiss at Harper's Ferry. Lando Lakes is $6.50. I just pulled up the website for our local grocery store. Lando Lakes is $7.49.
Wow.
For four sticks of butter.
Well, no, but
framed in gold, right?
To your point about the fact that a man watching football isn't going to go Project 2025. I mean, pretty much every Democratic voter over the age of 35 I've ever spoken to, except for a small handful of Tim Walz-esque exceptions, aren't Democrats because they're like, oh, they're going to ban drag. We have to bring our glitter to the polling place. Like, it's because they are worried. It's because they're worried about the prices of things. And historically, they've believed that the Democrats would support their union or, deliver higher wages to them or, raise taxes on them, whatever it is that they think can benefit them economically. But like trying to pander to men with those kinds of social issues, especially in that direction, it's not going to work.
I think they kind of stumbled into the Project 2025 fear-mongering after their first few ideas didn't work out. They were trying to focus on democracy / so-called democracy in January 6th. Wasn't resonating very hard. They tried to attack Trump as extremely pro-life. Trump dispelled that by coming out as relatively pro-choice as a Republican. And then they were like, all right, well, what else can we attack him with? None of this crap is kind of sticking. Well, everything we hate about Republicans, Project 2025, a match made in heaven, and it didn't resonate at all. The fear-mongering didn't.
It was always a really bad strategy in general, and this is another thing. The Democrats I used to at least give them credit. I mean, they're evil, but I used to think anyway that they're evil, but they're smart. And Republicans typically not as evil, but kind of dumb. That's the way it was for decades. So decades and decades. That's kind of the way it worked. And so Democrats are just like strategically running laps around Republicans, but they've gotten pretty dumb strategically in recent years. And Project 20, even leaving aside the ideology of it and politics of it, it's just the messaging is really stupid because when you go out and you have a 30-second ad and you say Project 2025, no one knows what the hell that is. And then you have to go look it up, and it's this whole long thing, and you got to read through it. So it's just really bad messaging. You have to find, but that's the point, is that they couldn't go to the actual Project 2025 and find anything scary. If there was something scary in it, you wouldn't say Project 2025. You would just focus in on that one scary thing, but it wasn't in there because
whatever you hate about Republicans, just throw it. There you go, Project 2025.
I actually, got a PDF of Project 2025 and was flipping through it just to see if it was as mundane as I'd expected, and it very much is. I mean, it's like, oh my goodness, these crazy radical Republicans want to alter the regulations surrounding Alaska's sovereignty with fishing and wildlife permitting. You're like, what? Come on.
Walsh, on something you said, I don't know if the Democrats have been getting dumb on strategy. Well, they have been, but why have they been getting dumb on strategy? And I believe it's because they're beholden to their youth and communist base at the party now, where all of the enthusiasm is. So they're struggling with their untenable party. It's just waiting to fracture is how I kind of view this stuff. And they know that they have to, talk about these fringe issues. You need to talk about trans rights, although it polls horribly, and all these other things that are honestly where the enthusiasm in the Democratic Party comes from. So
that is the problem that they're having. But again, just if you're smart strategically, I could have done a better job. Kamala could have hired me as a campaign director, and I would have done a better job of just selling these ideas and whatever morons they had working for. So their idea is Project 2025. Tim Wall, you bring on Tim Walz and you have him do the stupid football coach thing where they keep going back to this Wells. All right, huddle up, team. I'm going to give the football halftime speech, and it's so ham-fisted. It's like 1990s era youth group, leader type of stuff in their attempts to connect with people.
I'm not kidding you. I saw a tweet that went viral after the election where someone was saying the mistake the Democrats made is they failed to properly exploit Tim Walz because he's so relatable to young men, and this is why we lost young men as voters. Just the level of delusion is absolutely off the charts. Tim Walz is absolutely not somebody who any young man looks up to and wants to be like. And I'll just put it this way, man. When you're like, we have to put tampons in the boys' bathroom, and you're not somebody who young men are like, this is a really cool guy. But on top of that, his gesturing and
right.
Yeah.
When they put tampons in a high school boys' bathroom, the boys ripped the thing down and vandalized. Do you remember that story?
Yeah.
So
Yes, that was the high school I went to.
that was your high school.
Yes.
That was Seamus.
Yes, that was me.
Well, Tim
when I was in
Walsh-
high school. No, I'm kidding. But continue.
So it wasn't your high school.
no, yeah, it was.
It was.
Yes.
So Tim Walsh is known for wanting tampons in boys' bathrooms. At the same time, we know young men ridicule and reject that notion.
Yeah, of
and they
course.
thought this was going to attract young men to vote for Kamala Harris. It's absurd. And now you've got Andrew Yang going on CNN saying it was a mistake to not go on Joe Rogan's podcast.
Yeah.
And Mike Cernovich, he responded to me saying, that's like saying it's a mistake for me not to drop it on Tim Pool's half pipe.
Well, I'll put
Like,
it this
she
way.
can't do
like,
it.
If you're actually someone who young men look up to as an influence or appears manly, the joke critics will make about you to kind of coalesce with their optics that you should be bad is they'll basically call you stupid. They'll call you a lunkhead. Like, if there's anyone in the Democratic Party we could point to who's like remotely masculine, I think you'd say Fetterman is like a pretty masculine seeming dude.
What, Fetterman?
Not super. I think more so than anyone else in the party.
Yeah, I don't know if I
more
go that
so
far.
than
I'm
he's
not
not
giving that to
super
Fetterman.
masculine. He's not super. But I'm saying like as far as Democrats go,
he's not gay.
exactly, exactly. All right, that's a
Straight
fair
and
way
tall.
of putting it. But when you look at the way he's made fun of, as opposed to other Democrats, it's mostly like, this guy's dumb, this guy's a lunkhead. The reason Tim Walz was made fun of for like seeming gay wasn't because he did it, right? Like the reason Republicans were able to kind of coalesce around that meme and make fun of him on that basis wasn't because it wasn't resonating with young men. You get what I mean?
Yeah, and I mean, to follow up on Democrats on going or not going on Rogan's podcast, I think John Fetterman he went on Rogan's podcast and I think performed pretty decently and was a relatable guy and was talking about his struggles with mental illness following his campaign run and checking himself into Walter Reed for depression. And I think he came off as a relatable man.
That's what I'm saying.
Come to think of it, but only
Like
because
he's not like a macho dude, but he just seems like a more regular
But
guy.
that's the thing. If you want to, if you want to appear masculine and appeal to men, there are, I think, a few steps you have to follow. But the first step you have to get past is you have to be authentic, and that's the leftists again don't understand this because when they think about what we think of masculinity, they have this cartoon in their mind, and so with Tim Walz, they tried to imitate that cartoon. But in reality, if you're conservative and someone asks you like, what does it take to be a masculine man? None of us are going to say, well, you have to go hunting and you have to wear camo hats. We would say that's a version of masculinity. So there are those kinds of guys, and that's cool. But to be masculine, number one, authentic. Number two, competent. If you're authentic and you are a competent person and you're a man, and so you could be, you could go hunting and you could be that kind of guy. You could be a really smart guy who reads a lot of books and can, wax philosophical about things. That's also masculine.
You could be Jordan Peterson.
Right.
Oh man, it's like I'm the manliest guy around,
He
and
cries.
everyone knows it. No, it's true.
But he still inspires a lot of young men to get their act together, clean up,
Right.
100%.
things.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So but they don't understand. They think that we have this super narrow, very specific idea of what it takes to be a masculine man, and what they don't understand is that we don't, and we never did, and we don't have that for femininity either. I mean, our point all along, not to take this in a different direction, but they are the ones saying that, okay, well, to be a man or woman is this thing. And so actually, if you act a different way, then, if you're a man and you act a bit feminine, now you're actually a woman, it turns out. We're the ones saying that, no, you can be, there are actually a lot of different ways to be masculine.
Yeah.
And they don't listen.
Well, and even things like you said that wouldn't be traditionally considered masculine, like if you're really, really good at chess or something, you're just at the top of your field there, or making cartoons or something. But you look at a guy like Tim Walz, and you're right, the competence is not exactly something he exudes.
I don't mean to be disrespectful, but clowns are not typically considered masculine.
Yeah, I don't know.
Unless there's
They're
like a
sort of
super ripped, like
androgynous.
barbell 1920s
I don't see them
clown.
as feminine either, though. There's a weird thing going on there with
Well,
clowns.
it's just, you don't look at Tim Walz,
So I guess I shouldn't have called Fetterman masculine.
I don't know what the right word is, but bouncing around on stage, shaking his
bubbly.
arms.
Yeah.
He's a bubbly
But
guy.
It doesn't, but to your point, it doesn't exude competence at all. And that's the thing. Like, you could be a guy, you could be a great chef.
Exactly.
Very masculine.
That's very true.
Yeah.
And that's so, like feminine, right? Women cook, but almost all the top chefs in the world are men. And no one's like, oh, he's a cook. That's like so girly. But also, with it's almost like dude wipes as a phenomenon. Do you remember this? They were basically just baby wipes, but they put them in a package and called them dude wipes because they thought men would pay more for them, which is like ironically one of the most effeminate things you could possibly do. Like,
Or makeup.
I need to spend more money on a little treat for me that's going to make me feel more manly. Very embarrassing. Tim Walz kind of felt like that. Like we're just gonna call him like the dude wipes of political leaders. But maybe Tampon Tim is already stuck.
There you go. Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.